Just to start with, it looks to be better news on Gabamin, obviously, with him not needing an operation. But does that still mean that he's out for the rest of the season, or any chance you could have him back? What's the plan for him now?
No, the plan for him is to be back at the start of the new season. He has to stay. The news is that he doesn't need a surgery, but he has to stay out at least 8 weeks, and so this season will be finished for him.
As regards the other players you could potentially have back, you mentioned Jordan Pickford the other night. Can you confirm whether the likes of Alan, Gomez, Calvert-Lewin and Josh King will be available for you this weekend?
Available for the game are Jordan Pickford, Alan, Joshua King and Gomez. The next week we are going to have Calvert-Lewin, we are going to have Jeremina, Delph and Bernard. And the longer Gabamin, as we said, and Doucouré.
Carlo, have you ever known an injury crisis like this? How difficult does it make your job at the moment?
I think that is a general problem that we had a lot of injury. It's true that in a difficult moment it's more difficult to manage this. During the season, honestly, we were able to manage the absence of Alan, of Digne, of Richarlison sometimes, of James, to have this kind of injury all at the same time, it is more difficult. Tomorrow, I think, also if we have some players out, the squad is better, and I think that we can compete against Tottenham.
I just wonder, though, how ready they are for a full 90 minutes, because it must be frustrating for you at the minute, given how much you still have to play for this season.
Non ho capito.
Do you want to just say that again, Vinny?
Can you repeat, please?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course. It must be really frustrating for you, though, Carlo. I just wonder how many of the players that you've got coming back are ready for full 90 minutes, because the frustration, I'd imagine, from your point of view, is that you've got these massive games coming up with so much to play for, and yet you've had the injury problems as well.
I think that all the teams has this kind of problem in this period, or more or less they have players out with problem. The fitness of the team in general is good, because also against Brighton physically we were good, and so also the players that come back after an injury are in a good condition, and they don't need minutes to play to be fit. They are already fit.
Just finally for me, Carlo, away from the game, obviously the PFA and FIFPro are warning that permanent concussion substitutes are putting at risk player health and safety. They're calling for temporary concussion substitutes to be introduced instead, as a matter of urgency as well. What's your view on that?
My view is that there is a medical specialist on the pitch that has to take a decision if the player is able to play or the player needs to be substituted. I think that we have to give in the hands of the decision of the medical department.
Thanks, Colin.
Thank you, Vinny. We'll go to Andy Sixsmith for Premier League Productions, please.
Hiya, Carlo. Just on the recent form at the minute, I think it's 1 win in the last 5. What do you put that down to? Is that the accumulation of injuries, would you say? Is it fatigue? Is it a combination of both, perhaps?
No, it is a combination. I think that there were games where we were not good enough. I think that the game against Crystal Palace, we were much better. We could deserve to win. We could deserve to lose against Burnley. It's a difficult period for us that came now with a lot of injury, but we have to be able to manage to continue to fight, because the fight for European position is there, and we have to fight until the last game.
Yeah, you mentioned again on Monday, obviously the talk of the Europa League, the target of the Europa League. How do you assess the race for that, I wonder?
No, I think that there are a lot of teams involved there. As I said, we dropped some points in the last few games, and we have to absolutely to get the result against Tottenham, and then we have important games against teams that are fighting there, Arsenal, Aston Villa, West Ham, and so it is open for everyone, but difficult for everyone.
regardless of the finishing position this season, how much progression have you seen from this Everton team throughout what's been a very, very difficult season for all?
No, I think we have improved because we have at least we are in a good position of the Premier League compared to last season. The team improved as a knowledge, as a character, as a personality, and so we had some good result this season. Of course, we could be good to reach our target.
And just a couple of final ones from me on Spurs. A lot of talk of the pressure on them at the minute, on Jose. How do you assess the position that they're in currently, would you say?
I think every manager try to do his best. As you said, this was a special season. We try to do our best. I'm not able to judge Mourinho's job, that in my opinion it is always was a fantastic job where he was. And so, but I think that the pressure on the manager are and is absolutely normal. There is no news for this. Every manager has to manage the pressure.
Just a quick final one. You said how well the team Everton did defensively against Brighton. How big a test is this for them against Tottenham, against that front three?
I think it's really difficult to say how will be the game, because the last game that we played in FA Cup, the result was 5-4, and I think it will be an open game because they need points and we need points, and they have a fantastic quality in front. Maybe they could score, but we could score also. So it's unpredictable to say what's going to happen.
Thanks, Carlo. Best of luck.
Thanks, Andy. We'll go to Alex Howell, please, from the BBC.
Hi, Carlo. Just wanted to ask, the game against Spurs, is it more important just because how big the goal is for both of you to make it into Europe next season?
No, I think it's vital. I think, but all the 8 games that we have to play are vitals because we have to play against teams that are fighting with us for that position. So it will be important against Tottenham, but also the other games. They don't have less importance. They are important at the same. We have to get more points as possible.
Would it still be a successful season if you don't qualify for Europe, or do you measure how successful your season has been if you do qualify?
I think that to judge our season, we have to wait the end of the season. Yes, I said could be a fantastic season if we are able to reach Europe. Could be a good season. We are not able to do this.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. We'll go to James Mountford, please, Radio Merseyside.
Hello there, Carlo. You missed Dominic Calvert-Lewin naturally at Brighton. How big a miss is he? But how much of a boost does it have Josh King available for this game?
I think it's important. It's an option, Josh, to be back. Of course, the absence of the Dominic, it is important. But I think in front we have an option, and we were able to play without Dominic some games, and we did well.
And you mentioned about fighting until the last game. Do you think that the European competition to qualify, is that going to go down to the last game?
I think so. I think it will be decided at the last game because there are a lot of teams involved with unpredictable results, and so at the end there will be the decision.
And just finally from me, the amount of injuries you've got, is that just a coincidence, or do you think there's an underlying factor?
But I think that I think we have to take we have to take in consideration and to have a look to the player, to the injury, to the muscular problem injury that we had some in the season, because for the others, the injury of Doucouré, the injuries of Lucas Digne, the injury of Gabaman, I think is really difficult to avoid because our contact, and you cannot avoid contact in football.
Thank you.
Thanks, James. We'll go to Phil Medlicott, Press Association, please.
Hi, Carlo. Could you just say a little bit about how Jean-Philippe Goudin's mood is after this latest setback? 'Cause obviously, he was so sort of pleased to return to action against Crystal Palace and looking forward to pushing on from there, and then yet another sort of reasonably lengthy time on the sidelines.
But I have to say that he's a strong guy. He has a strong character, and he was able to manage the injuries that had last season, that had at the beginning of the season. His character is so strong, and he will be stronger after these unlucky situations, and it will help him for his career, for sure, this character.
Okay, thanks guys. That's